Hey everyone, what's up? This is Simon from Devtechtic, back with a new guide on media files with Ionic. So this is really a complex topic of capturing these files, storing them, using them. So we will dive into all of this for images, movies and sound files. So we will capture or record them, we will store them with a file plugin in our application, and we will also display them and use them. So we're gonna make heavy usage of Cordova. Let's do this. I've already started the app and prepared a few things because this really takes long. So as always, start with a blank app and then install a bunch of native Ionic native plugins and the according Cordova plugin. We will go through the list one by one in a second. For now, just do all of this and this as well. And if you're targeting Android, you might also have to add the Android support Gradle release. I don't remember for which plugin exactly it was, but maybe you try it without the one, and then once you get the error, which you will very likely get on Android, you can add it later on. So let's see what we got. We got the media capture plugin. The media capture plugin will be used in our case to capture both images and videos. We could also use the regular camera plugin, but I just wanted to use something different today. So that's the media capture. File, of course, is used to perform all the copy operations. So when you capture an image or record a video, they are most likely stored in some external directory or temporary directory. So you should move that file into your applications directory, and file gives us nice access to the file system. Next one is media. I actually don't know what we use media for. Okay, media is used to play a sound file, so easy as that. Streaming media then again is used for playing a video file from a path. The photo viewer is just something optional I added to display our images in a cool pop-up, but of course you don't have to use that if you don't want to. This is also maybe one of those that makes some problems, but I'm not completely sure. And then finally the image picker. No, I think this one makes the most problems on Android. Image picker is used to select multiple images from your library. So that was a request from the community, and of course I wanted to show you we can get back the path to all the images just like with our other plugins, and that's it. For all of this, we will have to deploy it to a device. So after a few steps, we will switch to the device, see how it looks. I actually wasn't able to get my live reload on the device working. For iOS, I tried it in many different ways. So if you got a working setup, please let me know how to do it. This would really be very helpful. All right, two more things for the preparation. First of all, if you're developing your app for iOS as well, you need to set some permissions in the info plist, and you can do this with this expression right in your config XML. So if you're using the camera, if you're using the photo library, if you're adding something to the photo library, which I think the media capture plugin actually does, so there's not yet a parameter to not add the photo to the library. For that you would have to use the camera plugin and the microphone, of course, as well. So go ahead with these changes in the config XML. And finally, we have to import all the fun we just installed with Ionic Native. Watch out for the ngx at the end, and add all of them to the array of providers of the application so we can make use of it. All right, enough of the preparation. Let's dive into something real. So the homepage is our initial starting page, so let's simply work with that. Besides that, we only need the homepage HTML, so these are the only files we gonna change in this tutorial. I already added a bit of code to the constructor, so basically all the plugins that we installed. Also the action sheet controller, so we can bring up the nice action sheet and the user can select what he wants to do, and the Ionic platform to detect once the platform is ready. Also, we're gonna need a files array because we will take a bit different approach than we did the last time. So perhaps we can directly start with this. The idea is to look in a specific folder of our application for all the media files and simply list them. So we don't need any SQL storage to keep track of the file names. We can just list the content of that folder. So you should, of course, as always, wait until the platform is ready, and then we can go ahead with our file plugin And first of all, check if the directory already exists. And I came up with a const which we use media folder name right here, just to have our own folder. So if my, what was the name? I already forgot this. Media folder name. If that one already exists, in that case, we of course don't have to create it. But if it doesn't exist, and actually this will not return if it exists or not, it will just go into the completion block if it exists and go to the rejected error block if it not exists. So in this case, we're gonna have to create a directory, again, using the file plugin. This is really powerful. Create directory at the path, media folder name. But of course, that's not the real path, and we need to pass the whole path in here. So as you can see, the path and the directory name needs to be passed to create directory. So let's create a variable path, which will use the file plugin data directory. So this is basically your safe place, safe harbor inside your application where you can copy files. So in that path, we want to create a new folder with the name media folder name. And we also don't want to replace the folder if it already exists, just to make sure. It's enough if we create it once, I think. So this one as well now is still red, because most of the time the file plugin expects a path and then a directory name. So we can change it in here as well to check in that position for our folder. If the folder exists, let's create and call a new function. So if it exists, we want to load our files from that folder. And if we create it, we will then also call load files once we are done. And in the load files, we can now iterate the directory. So again, this.file list directory, which will list files and directories from a given path. And guess what? The path is this.file was a data directory, and the name, again, our media folder name. So then we will get back a result, hopefully, and we can finally set our files to the result. And I will also log out these files. Hopefully we can then actually a bit see what is going on, because it's sometimes really hard to debug these Cordova plugins. All right, that's the first step. I think for now, let's head over to the HTML file, because I think we can talk about that real quickly. So in terms of the HTML, we need a button at the bottom so we can bring up our action sheet. Nothing really special and should be pretty easy for you. Let's add the select media function. We will implement the action sheet stuff in a second. In the content, we will now display an ion list of our items. And let me also bring this in, because that's nothing we should do now. So we go over all the items. On click, we want to open a file. So let's also create that one already. And what do we got as well? We got 3 icons depending on image, video cam, or microphone. If we got a JPEG, movie, or on Android, it's MP4. And a WAV file. I'm not completely sure. On Android I had some problems, but I think they should use basically the same ending. If not, let me know, or help someone else below the video by posting your Android solution. Inside the label, we just use some dummy values. We don't really need anything. We have a delete file as well if we want to move the file to the trash, but that's basically it. So really just an iteration of the files in our own folder. Right now, if we deploy it, we wouldn't see anything. The file, the folder is empty. Of course, you could go ahead now and run it, but that's pretty boring so far. So let's go ahead with the select media, which is called once we click a button. I will bring in now a few snippets every now and then, because the open file is, no, actually there's a copy function that will be tricky. Select media is still easy. So if we use await, we have to mark the function as async. We can use our action sheet controller now to create a little action sheet. So we can either capture an image, we can record a video, we can record audio, or we could load multiple images. And for all of these, we now need to implement the functionality. And basically they are really all the same. So let me just real quickly do the first one with you together. So the first one is, what was that called? Capture image. Capture image. So for capture image, we use our media capture plugin, media capture, and then we see we already got capture audio, image, or video. In our case, we want to capture an image. We don't need any specific options. You could do this, but not really needed in this case. And the result will be actually an array of media files. So thanks for the notification. I should drink something. Let's take a sip of coffee. Cold coffee, very delicious. So this means we get back an array, and you can handle how many items you want to get back, but basically in the normal case you should get back one item. So therefore you can check if the data length is bigger than 0, which means we actually got a result, just to make sure. Then we will copy the result, and I will also implement the copy file to local directory as a empty function for now. So then we call copy file to local directory, and we will pass in the same thing for everything. So for capture image, for pick images, all will simply pass a path. Oh, that's quite tricky, to this function. So data at the position 0, and then we see, because we're using the media file right here, we can check it has a name, a full path, a type, last modified, and a size. And the full path is the real shit that we want to have. So go ahead and use the full path, and I will just put this in, and that's how you implement all the other functions as well. So let's go ahead with record audio and video. Again, capture audio, check if the length is bigger than 0, and copy the first file. Record video, capture video, and copy the first file. So audio, video, and image really are basically completely the same, just a different function that we call on the media capture plugin. I guess we could do this even easier, but I think that's fine for now. The only thing that's a bit different is pick images. So let's implement pick images as well. In pick images, we now use the image picker, which allows us to open the library and select multiple images. We could also pass in some options, but we don't really need them right now. That's of course not how you do it. You call get pictures with an empty object, and then you should get back some results. Actually, can we get a typing for this as well? No, promise any. Nice return value. So let's log as well, console log images, results, just to see something going on the screen. And then we can go over all the results, because in this case we know that we got multiple images in here. So for actually use a pretty basic, I don't know for why I let result of results should work as well. We again call list.copy file to local directory with the result. This one actually only holds the path as far as I know. So this is basically an array of paths. So like my path 1 and then second path. I think it looks like this, so that's why we can simply iterate it. There are no media files in here. And now we would have to implement the copy file to directory, but I think we're already too far in code and we should see this on a device. So let's add a little login here, copy now. So we want to copy from this path, and let's see this on a device. Apparently my device is not in the best mood for debugging today, but anyhow, we see our app and the action sheet. So we can capture an image. Okay, that's fine, that's me. And let's use the photo, and then we should see the log. Copy now from this directory, actually, or not the directory, but the full path to the file, And we see also the warning to add this to the library. So that's because of the media capture plugin. We can record a video. So here is the video. Again, use video. And thanks reflector. We also see the log, copy now. Again, same folder. We can record audio. So hello, this is my audio test. Done. And again, same procedure, we get the path. And finally, we can load multiple images. So let's just use the whatever, 2 images. And then we see that we get back an array to path, and again, copy now, same time, same path. That's enough for us right now. So let's, for reference, copy one of these and then close Xcode again and this as well. So this is how the path to our file looks like. And now we have to copy from that path to our own application path, which basically looks like the same here, but now with, I don't know, perhaps data and then my media or so. So we want to copy into that directory. And to do so, we can now implement our copy file to local directory given the full path. So perhaps we keep the log for now. And now, first of all, the problem is that actually the copy operation requires this to look like file / or 3 slashes. So we're gonna have to patch the path, and we can do this simply by changing if it is not yet in the path, which actually I think is already on Android. We simply append this at the front to our path. Now we have to also get some variables, because if you look at the file plugin and the copy file function, we see that we need the path, the current file name, the new path, and the new file name. So we need 4 variables for this. And we can create them. So we can create a new name just by using a little date and using the extension. So basically this will split JPEG, WAV, or whatever, and create a new string with the timestamp and the extension. The name of the file is simply the last path, so it would be this here. Therefore, we just use the last index and create a substring. Copy from is the same one, but without this. So this is the copy from path. Therefore, we create a substring from the beginning until the last slash. And copy to is just the folder that we created in the beginning. So this is really a bit tricky. You can log out all these values, and then you can go ahead, copy from with the current name, copy to with the new name. And then it will copy our files to our local directory. And what we do then is, of course, to reload our files, because we can now list them again and we should see them in our list. If we got an error, you could also log this out. So console log error, whatever, and handle this in the way you want to handle it. And that is our copy file to local directory function. Here's really the thing where you can go wrong. So do a lot of console logs in here. If you receive any crash, this can be really challenging and frustrating if you just get not found error or wrong path, whatever. The error cards are not always telling you the real error, so dive a bit into this if you experience any problems. Now let's just add the 2 other functionalities. So delete file is actually pretty easy. We can also add a nice type in here, file entry. So if we know it's a file entry, which we know because from Listio we receive all the files, that looks kind of strange, but normally file entry should be from here. Anyhow, the only thing we have to do to remove the file is use the file plugin again and simply split the path once again, because all of them always require just the path without the name of the file and then the file name. So that's what we do in here, and then reload files. Now open file is interesting again. We can also tell that this is a file entry once again. And let me bring in our final snippet. So in here we need to check what type of file we got. So if it's a media file and we want to play the audio, we gonna use the media plugin and call create and then audio file play. This is a very basic and simple audio plugin. There are also other ones where you can control the files more in detail. Also, here we can again go wrong because this one expects the file to be without this. So we have to replace this with an empty string to cut it from our string. So for movie, we can basically use the native URL and our streaming media plugin to play it. And for JPEG, we can also use the photo viewer to see our result. It's really strange that some require the full native path and some don't. So this is again an area where you could go wrong. If you again see any errors, make sure perhaps add some error blocks to the different functionalities of play, video, show to see in which cases it fails. But once you get everything in this place, without this file of course, we can once again finally take a look at this. Okay, final debugging session. So we got the console log of Xcode open and we go ahead with capture image. So let's capture an image, we use the photo and we see copy now from a directory, and we also see that files now return. So this is our load files, which is of course covered by this. Our load files returns an array with one object, which we can see here with the new name composed of the date, the path, which is in our folder, and we can use the image viewer to view the image. Let's go ahead with the other stuff. So here's the recording, use video. And then of course this breaks my reflector. So whenever I play a video, it actually turns to this, oh sweet Jesus. But you see, it basically plays. The problem is just with a reflector on the device. It is correct. Same for audio. This is my audio test. And then we say done. And I turn on my volume. Okay, so my audio test comes from my headphones now. I don't know if I can somehow do this. This is my audio test. Perhaps you were able to hear this. Same for load multiple. We can now again go ahead and just select two images from the library. Both of them are added. Here's my awesome daughter and here is me. And that's how you create an Ionic 4 application using images, videos, and audio, capture, save, and display them. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. It was really hard in some places, especially the copy logic can be tricky, but I hope you can make it work. If you got any questions, leave them below the video. If you also want to see like a second part where we upload these files to a server, Firebase, anything like this, let me know in the comments. I'm open to do a second part on this because this part was pretty hard and I would like to show you a bit more even with this, so just let me know. Of course, give the video a like, subscribe if you are not yet a member, and also check out our Ionic Academy, the place for you, for every Ionic developer to be. I would love to see you inside and in the next video, so have a great day and take care.